Hello, and thank you for taking time this weekend to join us here on KREM 2 News. I'm Cody Proctor, and this is the KREM 2 News Week in Review. We know life gets busy, and it can be tough to keep up with all of the news. So let's get you updated on some of the headlines from this past week.
When I saw that, I wanted to throw up. I didn't know for sure at the moment who all had made it out, which was even scarier.
Bessie Boyer remembers the moment she learned her family's home of more than 10 years in Fruitland caught fire early Wednesday morning with 6 people inside. According to firefighters from Stevens County Fire District 2, the home was completely on fire when they arrived and was away from any fire hydrants. Firefighters say they had to use water trucks to put it out, and the site is still too unsafe to begin their investigation into the cause. The Stevens County Sheriff's Office took over the investigation as of Thursday night.
The whole upstairs is now in the basement, so it's a complete loss.
Boyer says 6 people were staying there when it caught fire, including her mother, 2 brothers, a family friend and his girlfriend, and the family's 89-year-old grandmother, Iona. Boyer says the friend, who we aren't identifying as we have not heard directly from his family yet, tried to go back into the house multiple times to save Iona, but didn't return.
He had grabbed my mom's phone and turned on the flashlight and tried to run back in that last time, and there was an explosion.
Firefighters say both are missing and presumed dead. Boyer says her family is still processing what happened.
I guess we all wanted to believe that maybe he had made it out the back door or something, but it doesn't sound like it.
Boyer says neighbors and loved ones are donating money and clothes to Boyer's family as they find a new, permanent place to live. As more information about the fire is yet to be determined, Boyer is holding her grandmother and friend close to her heart.
He was like a little brother to me, and he was one of my brother's best friends.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
For as long as
Well, over 40 documents were recently filed with things like eyewitness accounts inside the apartment. The documents show that 6 people were inside at the time of the shooting, including a child.
We're getting a new call stating that 2 males ran into their apartment with ski masks on, and apparently 2 people were shot.
Documents say everything started around 11:30 at night on February 4th. Witnesses told Spokane police they saw 2 men walk into the apartment with what appeared to be bandanas over their faces. Multiple people say the 2 started to fight with the initial person of interest almost immediately.
2 male victims, pretty obvious to each other.
The 2 men identified by the Spokane medical examiner as Isaac Tucker and Derek Alford were later shot and killed.
413. So far we have 3 shells and 1 casing.
The medical examiner says both died from gunshot wounds. Documents say a person of interest at the time was fighting with one of the masked men about a bag. All 3 men ended up fighting over an object under a blanket, which was believed to be a gun when it went off.
So far we have 1 caller calling this in, stating that in the last 5 minutes they think they heard several gunshots coming from an apartment.
At around 9 a.m. that morning, police took that 3rd person into custody. Documents say his apartment is just feet away from where the shooting happened. Officers found him with head injuries and took him to a nearby hospital. He was later released, though, after police got new information throughout the day. We are choosing not to name him because he was not officially charged for the shooting. In the days following the shooting, police told the public that this was an isolated incident and there was no threat. Now, we have since asked the Spokane Police Department more questions surrounding the case. They responded saying that the Major Crimes Unit is still investigating and that more information will be released when warranted. In the newsroom, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
Well, one person appears to be catching a wild and dangerous ride on an American Medical Response ambulance. This all happened on eastbound I-90 near Altamont in Freya.
Person jumped on the back of the ambulance and now refusing to get off the ambulance.
That's a dispatch call from about 4 a.m. this morning. While still dark outside, an individual was seen clinging to the back of an AMR ambulance on I-90. In this video KREM 2 News captured, drivers on the freeway can be seen flashing their lights and honking to signal to the AMR driver that someone was back there. But then minutes later, another dispatch says no one was seen on the back of the ambulance.
They said they never saw anybody on the back. They were just calling us precautionary.
During this blink and you'll miss it highway spectacle, AMR says no patient was inside the vehicle at the time. They say if a patient had been inside, they would have continued care while pulling over. They also confirmed someone was on the back of the vehicle, saying, "Upon becoming aware, our crew immediately pulled over safely and notified our dispatch center as soon as possible." Washington State Patrol was contacted and the individual left before they arrived. At this time, Washington State Patrol tells us they do not know who this mystery rider is. But this situation has happened before. Back in September 2024, KREM 2 News reported that a man was spotted hitching a ride on a semi-truck. And get this, it happened near the very same I-90 exit.
It's shocking. It's probably one of the most unusual things that I would put in my category of my 29 years.
And just like in 2024, the freeway freeloader also disappeared from the scene.
It's kind of like a Marvel comic of Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
We will continue to bring more information from law enforcement on this mystery rider as it becomes available. For now, I'm reporting in Spokane, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
As we go to break, here's a check of your weekend forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Before we get back to this week's headlines, we want to remind you that you can get the latest news and weather forecasts anytime you want on KREM 2 Plus. It's our streaming app you can watch on your TV, and best of all, it's free. We hope you'll check it out, but now let's get back to the weekend review.
Investigators say audio and video recordings, as well as a medical analysis, ultimately shaped their decision to not move forward with the charge of aggravated battery. Police say this all started from a missed basketball shot. The 21-year-old University of Idaho student was playing with some friends on Phi Delta Theta property when the ball hit the car Austin Dawson was driving while delivering food for DoorDash. Witnesses told Moscow police Dawson was upset about the situation and challenged the student to a fight because of damages. Investigators clarified that no damage was found. In a joint statement from police and the Latah prosecutor's office, the student declined to fight several times during the confrontation. Witnesses say Dawson finished his delivery and then went back to confront the student again. Investigators say in video and audio recordings you can hear Dawson provoking the student. The statement reveals the student later agreed to fight off of the fraternity property on the street. Video shows the two men shaking hands before the altercation. Multiple witnesses say Dawson threw the first punch. Investigators say the student tackled Dawson and Dawson hit his head on the pavement. While on the ground, the student punched Dawson multiple times before stopping when people told him to. The fight itself lasted 15 to 20 seconds. Moments later, 911 was called and bystanders began providing first aid. Dawson was later life-flighted to Lewiston and put into a medically induced coma. Medical experts told investigators Dawson's most serious injuries were caused by him hitting his head on the pavement, not the punches thrown afterward. Dawson's family tells KREM 2 they are surprised at how quickly he has recovered since being put in the coma. They say at this time he isn't dealing with any lasting brain damage from the fight. Under Idaho law, aggravated battery requires proof that unlawful force caused great bodily injury. Prosecutors determined the two men engaged in a mutual fight and say they cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the legal standard for charges were met. Dawson's family gave me a statement today saying, "We don't agree with their decision and our family is disappointed by this outcome." After the fight, Phi Delta Theta released a statement saying that the student was removed from membership. We have since reached out to the frat about his future now that no charges are being filed, but we have not heard back. Since no charges are being filed, we have chosen not to name the student involved. In the newsroom, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
A lot of disappointment today at the East Valley School District office as they go back to the drawing board after the latest round of results. Several school officials learned the news together in a conference room at the district office, including Superintendent Brian Talbot.
It got very quiet. And then, after that awkward pause, we started to reflect. There are a lot of positives, one of them being the last time we ran a bond, we were at 37% approval. So we're within striking distance.
Talbot says they're between 54 and 55%, and the most recent round of numbers hasn't moved the needle. The last time the district had a bond pass was in 1996.
All around us, the schools are being improved, and our kids have seen that happen and waiting for their turn. This would have been an opportunity for us to address every kid, every classroom across the district.
The superintendent and assistant superintendent knew the bond asked a lot of their community, but they still felt optimistic about the support.
We thought we had a reasonable chance of passing this time. So we were encouraged that we got the 54.5% of the voters approving, but it still was, it was a disappointing night.
Talbot and Rasmussen say there are many factors why the bond will likely fail, acknowledging that this is one of the only opportunities voters have to say no to an additional tax. Voter turnout was likely also a factor.
I certainly wish that folks would exercise their right. 65% no ballots is telling. And frankly, I think we're better than that.
Voters on social media were divided, with some voicing concerns about the condition of classrooms and others disagreeing with curriculum, previous district decisions, and increased burden on taxpayers. Talbot says it's a much larger issue than just a series of failed bonds.
The system is flawed, and we ought not be relying so much on our local community to support basic education.
The district has had more success with capital levies and can continue to use that funding to make improvements, but the risk is that they'd be spending money on buildings they eventually hope to tear down. They could also try again and run another bond in April, but the deadline to submit a resolution is in just a few weeks. Reporting in Spokane Valley, Caitlin Galloway, KREM 2 News.
Thank you for watching the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. It's been a busy week across the Inland Northwest, so let's catch you up on some of the stories you might have missed.
Well, in partnership with the Spokane Public Library, Pierce Spokane connected people to critical resources. Now, library leaders say without additional grant funding, the program is forced to come to an end.
Since 2023, officials tell me Pierce Spokane connected more than 1,000 people to resources like healthcare and housing support.
The peer group would run a program called Coffee and Conversation. And we would see people come in and they would go upstairs and have coffee, and there were services available for them to connect with. And one gentleman told me recently that he felt it was the only time of the week that somebody saw him. So that program is a big loss, as is all of the peer services.
Despite being unable to get more grant funding, I am told the Central Library staff is working to step in to still provide the information to those who need it.
The Pierce Spokane specialists were excellent because they were able to kind of help us out in providing those resources and connections to those resources. However, our staff is still trained on that, and we have a safety team here at Central Library, and they are going to build on and continue on as best they can with what they've learned from the peer specialists over the last 2 years.
Julie Garcia, who runs the Cannon Street Navigation Center, says they expect to see more people with this change.
Now, back in 2025, the city of Spokane did provide temporary funding when grant funding ran out. The city noted they do not have much involvement in Pierce Spokane, and at this time, Pierce Spokane has not applied to any city-specific funding. For now, I'm reporting in downtown Spokane. Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News. Right now, this is just a vacant lot, but by next year, this will be the site for the newest Northern Lakes Fire District station. Now, for families who live miles from the nearest station, that could mean precious minutes saved when seconds count.
Yep, we're all digging.
The promise of a new fire station in the Garwood area is beginning to take shape.
I couldn't be more happy to be here today to open this do this groundbreaking opening this station.
Chief Kevin Cruffett says this new station is the final piece needed to keep up with the rapid growth in the district's northern communities.
Anybody that drives around these areas sees the growth going crazy.
The fire district says its emergency calls have nearly doubled over the last 20 years. Right now, they're responding to almost 6,800 calls a year. That's up at least 25% in just 5 years. Chief Cruffett says response times for the Garwood area is about 10 to 15 minutes. But with the new fire station,
I would guess that it would cut off well over half that time. The beauty of it is we're kind of spread out in our district now, so we'll have faster responses to all areas of our district.
And the chief says this could even lower homeowner insurance rates if you live within 5 miles of the new station. The design is inspired by the East Side Fire District station. It will house a fire engine and the district's 10 new fire and EMS personnel. So this isn't just a ceremonial shovel in the dirt moment. It's about how fast help gets to you when you call 911. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Before we wrap up this edition of the KREM 2 News Week in Review, we have one more story you might have missed this past week.
By the time the parade rolled through downtown, hundreds of thousands of fans packed this stretch of the route, making the Yesler Bridge and down below one of the loudest spots on the route. It all started with a beat you could feel in your chest.
We've been up here since like 5:30 a.m. I'm just starting to wake up, but like we are so hype up here. Let's go! Woo!
Fans staking out spots before sunrise, bundled up, holding signs, waiting for that first glimpse of the team.
Look what's coming.
I know! It's so exciting! And just like that, downtown Seattle started shaking. From overpasses to street corners, fans shoulder to shoulder, soaking in the moment.
Bro, it's been crazy. I mean, I've been here for 7 years to do this. I always knew what the 12s were like, but this is crazy. This is beyond belief.
Yeah. And when the Lombardi rolled by,
I want the entire city to see this trophy.
For 12s lining the route, this wasn't just a championship Super Bowl parade.
It's our streets, it's our city, it's our Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So we're here to show out.
A city coming together. Loud.
Shout out to the 12s, man. They turned out for us all.
Proud.
The whole city seems to be out.
And unforgettable.
What more can you ask for?
In Seattle, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
Thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for watching.